the last week of Jesus, based on the scriptures from the Gospels. In the heat, Jesus and his disciples walked to Jerusalem.
Go ahead. You'll find a donkey tied with her colt. Bring them to me. If questioned, say, "The Lord needs them, and he will send them without delay."
The disciples depart with faith in their steps. Jesus arrives to Jerusalem. The city stirs in awe. Voices rise, saying, "Who is this man?" The crowds proclaim, "This is Jesus, prophet of Nazareth." The crowd waves their palm leaves, saying, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord."
Teacher, rebuke your disciples.
I tell you, if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out. If only you, Jerusalem, knew today what brings peace, but now you cannot see it.
The next day, Jesus approaches a large fig tree full of leaves.
Never again will fruit come from you. With true faith and no doubt, you can do great things, and whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive, if you have faith.
Jesus enters in the temple, eyes blazing with rage.
You have turned my Father's house into a marketplace. Jesus drives out the merchants and moneylenders in fury.
Coins scatter as tables crash down. Doves burst free as cages fall hard.
My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers.
Jesus and disciples walked to Bethany at twilight and stayed there. On the next day, Jesus and his disciples journey under the watchful sun. The disciples spot the fig tree by the roadside. They are shocked.
"Rabbi, look! The fig tree that you cursed has withered."
Have faith in God. Whoever believes without doubt can command even a mountain to move, and it will happen. Believe when you pray, and it will be yours. And when you pray, forgive others, so God may forgive you too.
Jesus stands in the temple, calm and wise. The priests and elders approach with pride and doubt.
By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?
Can I please ask you a question before I answer? What about the baptism of John? Was it from heaven or from man?
If we say it's from heaven, he'll question us. But if we say it's from people, the crowd will reject us. We don't know.
Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things.
Jesus teaches many parables as sunlight fills the temple. Jesus shares the parable of two sons to show that true obedience comes from actions, not just words. Jesus also teaches the parable of wedding feast, saying that God invites all people, but not all will be accepted. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to entangle him in his words.
Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?
Give Caesar what's his, and give to God what is God's.
The Sadducees, who doesn't believe in resurrection, try to trap Jesus with a question.
A woman marries 7 brothers in turn, all of whom die. Whose wife will she be in the resurrection?
God is not the God of the dead, but of the living.
Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?
Love God fully. Love others as you love yourself.
Jesus proves Messiah is Lord, not just David's son from the scriptures. Jesus speaks with divine wisdom in the temple as he shows his authority. Surrounded by the leaders, their faces filled with confusion, Jesus answers the leaders' doubts, which leaves them astonished. In the temple, Jesus stands tall, his gaze sweeping over the scribes and Pharisees.
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You snakes! You brood of vipers! How will you escape being condemned to hell?
As evening falls in Bethany, Jesus reclines at Simon's table, unaware of the act of devotion to come. A woman approaches with trembling hands, offering a jar of precious perfume in silent devotion. In a bold act, she breaks the jar, anointing Jesus with fragrant oil, a lavish, symbolic gesture.
Why wasn't this perfume sold to help the poor? It's worth a year's pay.
Jesus calmly defends her, seeing beauty in her act.
Why trouble her? She has done a beautiful thing to prepare for my burial. The poor people are always with you.
In the chief priest's palace, candlelight flickers as chief priests and elders gather secretly by night. In the dim light, hushed voices plot plans forming within the Sanhedrin. Fearing unrest, they plot in secret to arrest Jesus, hiding their plan behind religious authority. In the dim room, Judas appears, his face marked by greed and betrayal as he begins his dark plan.
What are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you?
30 silver coins seal the deal, and a sly smile creeps across Judas's face. The betrayal has begun. With deceit in his heart, Judas seeks the right moment to betray Jesus, setting destiny in motion. The Passover was fast approaching. Everyone was getting ready.
Where do you want us to make preparations for you to eat the Passover?
Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Tell the homeowner. The teacher asks, "Where's the room where I can eat Passover with my disciples?"
In a quiet upper room, Jesus gathers with his disciples where fellowship and destiny meet at twilight.
I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer.
Tension fills the room as the disciples struggle to grasp Jesus' words, their faces marked by confusion and sorrow. Jesus got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. Jesus poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet. Then, Jesus drying them with the towel.
You don't understand now, but later you will.
Lord, you shall never wash my feet. No, you shall never wash my feet.
Unless I wash you, you have no part with me.
Then, Lord, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well.
Those who are clean need only wash their feet. You are clean, but not all of you.
Candlelight flickers as silence falls, casting shadows on the faces of Jesus and his disciples.
One of you will betray me.
Surely not I, Lord, the disciples cry out, their voices filled with shock and sorrow.
It is the one to whom I will give this piece of bread when I have dipped it.
Jesus hands the dipped bread to Judas, revealing him as the betrayer in the sacred moment. Despite what Jesus said, the disciples were confused. In the upper room in Jerusalem, twilight descends as Jesus prepares to initiate the sacred supper. Jesus lifts the bread in thanks, a symbol of love and sacrifice, as he prepares to share the new covenant.
This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins.
Jesus shares the wine, symbol of redemption, and the new covenant, with his disciples. After the supper, in the quiet upper room, Jesus comforts his disciples as shadows grow long.
Don't worry. Trust in me. I will go to prepare a place and will return. The Holy Spirit will guide you in peace. I'm giving you my peace. Real peace, not like the world's. So don't be worried or afraid. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid.
At night, Jesus and his disciples enter Gethsemane, a quiet place filled with unspoken destiny.
My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. Peter, James, John, please come with me. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me.
In Gethsemane, beneath the night sky, Jesus steps away to pray, his soul burdened with deep sorrow.
Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done.
In the serene garden of Gethsemane, darkness descends as Jesus returns to find his disciples succumb to slumber. Jesus gently wakes his weary friends, his face filled with both concern and compassion.
Could you not keep watch with me for 1 hour? Stay alert and pray, so you won't fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
In Gethsemane, Jesus prays beneath the moon, with a scent of olive trees and sorrow. Jesus kneels in deep prayer as he seeks strength beneath the trees.
My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done.
Jesus returns to find his disciples asleep, their rest a sharp contrast to his night of prayer.
Are you still sleeping? The hour has come. The Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners.
Judas arrives by night, leading soldiers and elders into Gethsemane with betrayal in his heart.
The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him.
Judas went right up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him.
Do what you came for, friend.
One of the disciples draws his sword. He strikes Malchus's ear. Jesus goes to Malchus and heals his stricken ear.
All who draw the sword will die by the sword. I have the power to summon overwhelming heavenly forces, but I choose not to. How else would the scriptures be fulfilled? It must happen this way. Am I a criminal, that you come with weapons to arrest me? I taught in the temple daily, and you didn't grab me then. This happened to fulfill the prophet's writings.
In the high priest's residence, Jesus is led into a den of anticipation and veiled malice. The priests and elders seek false charges to condemn Jesus. A crowd of accusers surrounds Jesus, their intent heavy with malice as he stands in silence. In the high priest's house, false testimonies fill the night with chaos and deceit. False witnesses claim he said he could destroy God's temple and rebuild it in 3 days.
Why aren't you answering? What is this testimony against you?
But Jesus remains silent. The high priest observes the spectacle of lies, his frustration simmering beneath a veneer of composure. In the dim chamber, tension fills the air as the questioning of Jesus begins in the high priest's house.
Are you the Messiah, the Son of God?
I am. You will see the Son of Man at God's right hand, coming with the clouds of heaven.
In the high priest's house, he tears his robes in fury, his face contorted with outrage. Pointing with a trembling hand, he cries, "Blasphemy!" as his voice echoes through the hall.
He has spoken blasphemy. Why do we need any more witnesses? What do you think?
Tension fills the air as they speak the verdict, sealing Jesus' fate. The crowd rushes at Jesus, spitting, striking, and mocking him with hateful fury. At night, Peter stands in the courtyard. In the courtyard, a servant girl noticed Peter and questioned him.
You also were with Jesus of Galilee, were you not?
I do not know what you're talking about.
Then he went out to the gateway, where another servant girl saw him. A servant girl stared at Peter, stirring suspicion among those around her. This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth. The other servant girl said.
I don't know the man.
As dawn breaks, suspicion tightens its grip around Peter in the high priest's courtyard. Surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away.
I do not know the man.
A rooster crows, marking Peter's denial with a haunting sign. At dawn, Jesus looks at Peter, a heavy silence passing between them. Peter remembers Jesus' words, "Before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times." Peter is crushed by the truth as Jesus' prophecy comes painfully to life. Jesus is taken away to Pilate. In the Sanhedrin's hall, solemn leaders witness a turning point. Guards escort Jesus through the imposing chamber, setting the stage for a fateful decision. Jesus stands before Pilate in the Roman hall, the weight of destiny thick in the air. Accused of rebellion and kingship, Jesus stands silent before his accusers. They accuse Jesus of stirring unrest, such as refusing taxes to Caesar and calling himself the Messiah, a king. Morning light glints off Pilate's armor as Jesus stands calm amid rising accusations.
Are you the king of the Jews?
You say so.
Pilate, in profound contemplation, finds no justification in the charges against Jesus. In Pilate's hall, news of Jesus' Galilean origin shifts the path of destiny. Pilate, seeing a chance, sends Jesus to Herod, passing on the burden of judgment. Herod is excited to see Jesus, hoping to witness a miracle. Herod anticipates a display of miraculous signs. In Herod's palace, Jesus stays silent as questions fly, the tension growing with every unanswered word. Herod's soldiers mock Jesus, their laughter and insults echoing through the hall. They robe Jesus in fine clothing, mocking him its beauty, a cruel contrast to his quiet suffering. Dressed in mock royalty, Jesus is sent back to plot a silent, yet full of strength and surrender. In Pilate's hall, he speaks with authority as tension hangs in the air, and the crowd waits in silence.
You brought this man to me as one who was inciting the people to rebellion. I've examined him before you, and Herod has to find no basis for your charges.
In the bright morning light, Pilate faces the crowd as destiny begins to unfold. Pilate reminds the crowd of the custom. One prisoner will be released.
Which one do you want me to release to you? Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
In Pilate's courtyard, priests and elders stir the crowd, their faces revealing dark intent.
Which of the two do you want me to release to you?
A unified cry erupts from the crowd, their voices echoing with a chilling demand, "Barabbas!" In the courtyard of Pilate's headquarters, Pilate surveys the crowd.
Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
The crowd erupts in a unified, chilling cry, "Crucify him!"
Why? What crime has he committed?
The crowd erupts with one voice, "Crucify him!" As unrest grows, Pilate feels control slipping in his own headquarters. In the courtyard, the crowd cries out together, their voices echoing a dark demand. Pilate, swayed by the crowd, nods, grimly sealing their fate and his. Pilate took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd.
I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility.
Barabbas is freed, a symbol of the crowd's dark victory. Pilate turns towards Jesus, an act that seals his fate. His blood be on us and our children, the crowd cries. Amid cold stone walls, soldiers lead Jesus into the praetorium, a hall of harsh judgment and heavy fate. Jesus is surrounded by soldiers as watch him in disgust. Jesus is stripped, and then mockingly placed a scarlet robe over his shoulders. A crown of thorns is cruelly pressed upon Jesus' head. A staff is thrust into his hand. The soldiers kneel in false reverence, crying out, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Jesus was beaten with his staff, with wounds on his head. Jesus was beaten to satisfy the crowd. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Mockery fades, robe removed, his clothes returned, he walks on. The procession begins as they lead him away. The weight of the cross, an ominous symbol of the fate that awaits. Roman soldiers mercilessly dragged Jesus along the road to Golgotha. They met a man named Simon of Cyrene, and they forced him to carry the cross. Women weep loudly in the streets, their cries deepening the sorrow of the unfolding injustice.
Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children.
They arrived at Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. They had crucified him. With callous indifference, Roman soldiers gamble for Jesus' garments, their dice throws echoing the profound silence.
Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.
If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross.
Jesus remains quiet without giving any reply. There was a written notice above him, which read, "This is the King of Jews."
Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby.
Woman, here is your son. Son, here is your mother. My God, why have you forsaken me? I am thirsty.
In a moment of cruel irony, wine mixed with gall is offered, a bitter draught in the face of impending doom.
It is finished. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit.
And when Jesus had cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. Jesus died on the cross. One of the soldiers pierced Jesus' side with a spear, bringing a sudden flow of blood and water. These events fulfilled Scripture. None of Jesus' bones were broken, and they looked upon the one they had pierced. In a moment of divine reckoning, the temple curtain is ripped asunder, signaling a cataclysmic upheaval. The earth trembles violently, and solid rocks shatter into fragments, unleashing the raw power of nature's fury. Tombs opened. Some ancient saints rose, entered the city after Jesus' resurrection. The Roman soldiers who was guarding Jesus said, "Truly, he is the Son of God." From afar, women stand as silent witnesses, their faces etched with grief as they recall their devotion to Jesus. Amid the sorrowful crowd, Mary Magdalene's steady gaze stands out with quiet strength. As twilight descends, Joseph of Arimathea, a man of wealth and faith, arrives at the tomb. Bearing the weight of devotion, Joseph, a follower of Jesus, seeks to claim the body of his Lord. In a bold act of reverence, Joseph petitions Pilate, his voice resonating with respect and quiet determination.
Ah, what? Jesus died. Very well. You may take the body.
A man called Nicodemus brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds, and they put it on Jesus. In the solemn twilight, Joseph tenderly prepares the body, enveloping it in a shroud of pure linen. With utmost care, they lays the body within his own newly hewn tomb, a sanctuary carved from the rock. In a final act of devotion, Joseph strains to seal the tomb, rolling a massive stone to guard the silent chamber. Joseph departs, leaving behind the tomb in the quiet embrace of the evening. The tomb was nearby to Golgotha. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sit their faces, mirroring the weight of unbearable sorrow. As the sun dips below the horizon, Long shadows stretch and mournfully envelope the scene, symbolizing the fading hope. Sir, he said, he will rise, secure the tomb to stop a greater deception. You have a guard of soldiers. Go. Make it as secure as you can. The high priest sent his guards to tomb to secure by sealing the stone and setting a guard. The tomb stands as a silent witness, its stone sealed, guarded against the impossible. They all rested on the Sabbath in obedience to the commandment.